Yeah. Okay, in order. Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hello.
Yeah.
Training, sorry about that.
Oh, training, that's.
Compliance, open meeting law?
Actually posted it twice. The agenda that you guys were sent on Friday, I did amend on Saturday, so I
Okay,
reposted it on Saturday at 9 and 1.
okay, so good. Roll call.
Rolfie, Kaczynski,
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Baker, here, Kraus.
Yep.
White,
Here.
Hobart.
Yeah. And are there any changes or corrections to the agenda?
No changes or corrections to the amended agenda.
Okay, number 6, approval of minutes of the regular Board of Trustees on September 8th and the special board on October 9th.
Move to approve.
Motion been made by Al to approve. Second by Bill. All in favor, say aye.
Alright.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Public comments, we are all here on the agenda, okay? And the announcements.
I have a couple, I think. The annual joint board of review meeting is going to be October 27th at 5:15. And then after that, at 6:30, we have our special board of trustees meeting.
Okay, thank you. And number 9, Public Works Report, brief summary of the Public Works Department. Yeah, they're good, man.
All right, here we go. Well, Ethan for wastewater had his baby.
Yeah,
He had his baby. He looks really good now.
treatment plan and the babies?
Oh,
Oh, cool.
yep. They repaired a manholes on Willow. I believe there's 4 of them. Digester 3 is back in service after the repair the decam pipe. The fine screen is broke. The pinion gear wore out, so the parts estimated in progress. Scrubber took out the jetter, I believe last Thursday or Friday for a backup complaint and took care of that.
First time he had it out on his own by himself, so.
Yeah, he didn't have someone help him, yes.
Good, see?
Did you help him?
Mike went out and helped him.
Okay,
Just so, but Mike, Trevor ran out on his own,
But
which he
Trevor
didn't have
ran,
someone,
yeah.
yep.
that was good.
And then in the water, they finished their annual lead inspection report for the DNR and no violations, so. Public Works, we assisted wastewater in the manhole repairs. Turned all the piles down to the compost, cleaned that up. Fixed the water main break on Main Street. And all streets are swept before leaf cleanup.
Any questions for Will? None, thank you. Police chief report.
Right, during the month of September, I attended the village board meeting and we had a police commission meeting. In September, we handled a total of 208 calls for service, issued 13 citations and 6 written warnings. And then under announcements, I would like to remind residents that starting on November 1st to April 1st, parking is not allowed on the village streets from 2 a.m. until 6 a.m. This is to ensure safe and efficient removal of snow during the winter season. Violators may be cited per village ordinance 451-23. And that is it.
Any
On
questions?
your calls,
Yes,
it said extra patrol, 30 of them. What qualifies for extra patrol?
so like, for instance, we're having problems down at, we have some stuff stolen from the water plant project. So we go there, check the building. When I do an extra patrol, I get out, walk the building, walk the property. Another one, people like, we do, extra patrols and before school gets out and when session ends, we'll patrol the school grounds and the roads adjacent to the school.
What qualifies, I mean, I understand your examples. I mean, is there a criteria, basic criteria or?
It could be there's no basic criteria. People call in, like, we do a lot of extra patrols. Hey, we got speeding going on East Clark Street. So to document that, we'll do an extra patrol and then we'll mark it radar.
Okay, so normal patrol is,
Normal patrol is, I guess I would describe as driving around and patrolling.
so extra is other things other than,
Like I'll spend a lot of time in areas that, hey, there's speeding going on over here. Well, we document that with an extra patrol and we're clocking cars going back and forth.
Any other questions? Thank you, Sean. President's comment, I have nothing at this time. New business. Discussion and possible action on the outdoor recreation plan updates presented by Fred Hayter of the North Central Wisconsin Regional Planning Commission.
Thanks very much. Just wanted to share with you the overall gist of the outdoor rec plan. And then after today, you can take a look at the whole thing yourself and maybe at the next meeting, consider adopting it by resolution. And then it'll be in force. And as of that time, every May 1st, you can apply for stewardship grant, which is 50-50, 50% grant, or DNR has either stewardship or they've got land and water conservation fund that they have access to, which is a federal program that's also 50%. So the outdoor rec plan, it's got some past plans in the front, some demographics that is required, and then we did a survey that had a good response rate. And then I want to show the map right there. That's map 1 recreational facilities. And then this is the only one with an air photo, so you can see where housing exists right now. And then look in your comprehensive plan for where future housing is. Of course, you all live here, so you know that where the areas for future housing are. The other thing that I did was, I'm sorry, yes,
Just to ask you a
oh yeah.
question. It seemed like the number one request I think was
Yeah.
to get this walking trail all the way around. That seemed what people want to have that done. Have you got that mapped out where all that is? and stuff?
Yeah, I've got that as it's the last map.
Oh, okay.
He's zooming
all right.
right now.
Um,
There.
I jumped the gun.
No problem.
Oh, okay.
Well, so
Go ahead.
here, let's go back in front. So here, this one, I was just wondering. So I've got several things on here. Based on how far people could walk, like Lions Park is here. Even if you wanted them walking through here, which you don't during the day, of course, that's the Land O'Lakes property on both sides. You'd want them walking here if they're kids and adults. This area in red here for this park is beyond the half-mile radius for walkable distance to the park. Doesn't mean that, it's more than half mile. Can you walk a mile? Of course you can walk a mile. It's just a DNR suggestion. If you're doing an analysis of where are parks in your community, you want to do a half-mile radius or walking distance from each of your neighborhood parks, which that is neighborhood or community park. And then that means that this whole neighborhood area is beyond the half-mile walk distance out from there, from that park. And so any park that has at least a playground in it is a mini park. And well, Lions Park is considered all three. I mean, it's a mini park only because it has a playground. It's a neighborhood park because it serves the adjacent areas. And then it's a community park because it actually serves your whole community. A community park serves about 2,000 to 5,000 people, or a distance of a couple miles, which covers the entire community for sure. So I did that analysis for all these, and so let's go back one map. So right, one more map, I guess.
Oops, back to the first map.
Oh no,
I think that's the only.
let's see, one. Are they all through back?
Yeah, just the first map and then just do it the end.
Okay. All right, so I didn't include in your packet the other one that shows, there's another map in here that shows here, right here. The other map here is park service areas. So we've got, I know it's not easy to read, so but it shows the same red areas on the recommendations plan, recommendations map. And so we've got, this also includes the school grounds. So the elementary grounds are here. Let's see here. And Art Park is up here. And so that's what all these bubbles are for. That, and then because you can't walk across the train tracks or get across the highway, that's why this bubble isn't smooth and actually just jets out here at Willow Drive at the state highway. So that shows this area is unserved, but there's no housing there. That's your industrial park area, one of your areas. So that's a little bit about that analysis. Let's go down to the goals objectives, the next page. So you saw all these before, but I highlighted the additions. So goal 1, provide new facilities and ongoing maintenance. Objectives, so we want to make sure that that we had some more detail in the objectives, which is where detail should go. Continue improving, might not be able to see it through the blue. Continue improving facilities at the band stage in Lions Park. I didn't write that down clearly. I'll fix that.
In what way?
What?
In what way would you think this is ideas on improving the facilities?
There's go to the
Yeah, if we go to the recommendation section
capital improvements.
or capital improvements. So that's a little ways further. We talk about
There.
here.
There we go.
So-
So you want?
No, go
Okay.
ahead, sorry.
So you know, I don't know everything that the community wants. So, you know, I just put it here. So at the Spencer Community Stage, add bathrooms and a covered shelter area, possibly 2027. And it's about $250,000, today's money.
That's available for that?
Yes.
No, that's our budget now.
Okay,
This is
do
what
we
we
get-
would,
But you had, okay, yeah, right.
Yes,
But you said there was some grants
yes.
for this stuff?
Yeah, so everything now, as of 2022, active and nature-based is eligible for 50% funding. And it's always a
So
May
how much?
1st deadline.
I imagine there's a cap on there.
Probably. I don't know what the cap is.
Because you got the information on the second one is the DNR. Did you get the name of the first grant that
Oh.
you mentioned?
Sure.
Apply for
Yeah.
The stewardship fund grant?
stewardship.
Yeah,
Okay.
yep, stewardship and conservation.
It's it's on your page one, Land and Water Conservation Fund. So that's the federal, this is the state. They're both 50% grant eligible projects. The good thing about the Land and Water Conservation Fund is that it covers active recreation. So anything that you want to do at the community stage, in Lions Park. I always give the example of a splash pad because that's an active, or a baseball diamond. Those are active. Nature-based is if you just walk into the park, it would pay for a pass. It would pay for the restroom because that supports actually both the active and the passive use of that park. So.
So we look at these, like for doing the bathrooms and adding on.
That's literally why we're doing the outdoor recreation plan. So that we can use that to support an application for both of these grants.
Great.
That's why we're here. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, so I've got, so we elevated a couple things into the objectives of both goals. Let's see, continue developing the goal 1, objective 2, continue developing Peach Pond wildlife / nature area, and 3, develop Grumpner subdivision park. So now that we have this in here, goal 2, the new objective number 2 is continue adding paths to connect neighborhoods. We had objective 1, which was create the path around the entire community, but you as a community have had connected, streets here and there, and so we wanted to make sure that that's captured in here as well as one of your objectives. And then the recommendations are throughout, are following the goals and objectives. So build walking and biking paths. So we've got 3 recommendations under that. The first one was this isn't a detailed plan per se. It can just be a map. So recommendation 1 is develop a multi-use trail and sidewalk plan that divides the proposed trail corridor on map 4, that big loop around the community, into segments that identify what type of path is desired in each trail segment. So like maybe along Willow Drive, you want a 10-foot asphalt path. And so you would just call out that segment and with a call out window on a Word document and say 10-foot asphalt path, things like that. If you don't have an idea how to, do something on whatever peripheral segment, then you just leave it blank for now. So there's a lot of recommendations in here. Connect Spencer to Marshfield via a bike route. This was a carryover from your last outdoor rec plan, and there's the map related to that. A lot of it is not in the village of Spencer, but I did update that map to show low volume roads that already exist and the trail quasi network in, there we go, quasi network in the marsh itself that already exists. I don't think that all of that trail is available year round. I think they close it for So wildlife habitat breeding can exist in the spring. But that was something that your community wanted last time, so I just updated the route. Instead of this line being on the county highway, why not just bring it down here and use these roads that already exist? And per WISDOT, they're low volume roads, maybe a little more than a residential street, but
Yeah, unfortunately, to get from here to here, that's our tough spot.
yeah.
Cause this is. a
Why
long
don't you
highway.
take Eagle, Monroe and Eagle down to Carroll,
Here you mean.
cross 13 by the mill, and then you're right there back on Carroll to go down to the marsh.
All the way down here, you mean? Or no, this isn't.
No, no.
Is this Carroll here?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be an option too. Yep,
So
for
we
sure.
take the side by side.
Yep, this could be a good way too. It might be better than this, just because you can't
Oh, yeah.
get down 13 to,
Well, you're not on 13, you're on Monroe and Eagle.
right, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be a better route.
Install bicycle parking. This is also in your safe routes to school plan to have some bike racks, maybe one outside here in our village hall, library, maybe one outside of Spencer Kids Group. So updated ones at the school, but that's in the safe routes to school plan. And then maybe one at each of the parks. So there's a place to lock the bike if someone wants to do that. Establish park and trail dedication requirements. Various communities do this various different ways. I've seen where community recommendation 1, adopt an ordinance requiring installation of bike and pedestrian improvements as part of any development project located along a planned bike or pedestrian route on a specified map, which would be your map 4 in this plan, or revised map 4, I should say. Number 2 is add future park locations to Spencer's future land use map in the village's comprehensive plan. And then recommendation 3, adopt an ordinance requiring dedication of parkland to the village as part of any development project located near a proposed park or Spencer's future land use map in the village's comprehensive plan. So those are, maybe you do all 3 of them, maybe you do one of them. So that's a couple ways to do it. All those are short term. Establish new parks. This is through the park analysis that I was talking about. And this is to cover both of those red areas. Let's go down to, oh, actually, might as well just leave it right there. Area A on map 2. Why don't we just, I can read them. Let's go to the map. There we go. Oh, came off. Had my GIS person make a change to this map and remove the letters. This is area A, and that's area B. recommendation for Area A, short-term installation of a playground at Nitty Park would serve all residents east of County Highway V and south of the Land O'Lakes plant. For Area B, short-term recommendation. As of now, over half of these residents in Area B on map 2 are over 3/10 of a mile more away from Haslow Park, so 0.8 miles away total. No major road is blocking the additional walking needed to access Haslow Park, but a new park is needed to serve this area. And then the long term would be actually to develop a park in that area. So, and I looked at your comprehensive plan. The future map shows more potential residential in that area. So maybe with development of more housing, you put a dot on your future land use map as a park, and then negotiations can take place with developing where the park actually goes, and then the housing.
That's the 5 acre.
The 5 acre minimum was seek a set aside of at least 5 acres, at least 3 buildable acres. So that was in the DNR recommendations for neighborhood size park. If it's not 3 acres, I mean, no one's coming after you, but will provide space for if you wanted additional ball fields or a soccer field or a general use open space for kids and adults to play. So that's what the 3 acre buildable is. And so 2 of those acres could be like wetlands, non-buildable land. And then the last recommendation before the capital improvements is establish a nature park. This was a carryover from your last outdoor rec plan. Add this potential park to, so recommendation 1. Add this potential park to the future land use map in the village's comprehensive plan. And then recommendation 2, create a natural park in the southwest corner of Spencer. Possible amenities include walking paths, wetland boardwalk, benches, picnic shelter, and restrooms. And that was all from your previous plan. If it's not still an idea to establish a nature park in the southwest corner, so somewhere over here, then we can easily remove that. There's no requirement for the village to implement any of these recommendations or capital improvements over the course of 5 years or ever. If you don't have it in here, you can't ask the DNR to buy land for the 50% grant to reimburse you for any land acquisition for parks. So. So that's all I have for now. Any other questions? There's a list of capital improvements for each of the parks.
And I just threw numbers on here that I thought made sense. Realizing that we haven't even budgeted for next year yet, but $25,000 for the wildlife area. Maybe $40,000 over the course of 5 years for the walking and biking trails. $20,000 for the Gruppner subdivision park. And additional walking trails around the stormwater ponds at Gruppner's. $20,000 might get us some decent playground equipment installed at Newby Park. Pardon?
One piece.
Well, yeah. And like I said, I can change these numbers too.
How much land do we own? The dog park?
Quite a bit, actually.
Over 2 acres, I looked it up.
Yeah. Yeah, this whole green area right here, This is that house,
Mm-hmm.
and the guy that had asked to buy the lot behind him would be here. And then all the rest of it here is ours too. So the idea was to try to find a way to serve the people in the
Trailer
home
court.
court and down Balsam Spruce and Cedar Streets. Especially considering crossing County Highway V. If you could find them a park without forcing them to cross the highway. It's not a huge, volume of traffic, but there aren't any there's no sidewalks or signals or anything like that to help them get across the street. Same thing kind of on this end too, so having a park here would really be helpful to the people that live down in this area.
So then if you agree with what's in here, I'll make a couple of changes, a typo or two that I just saw. And then in the next month or, by the end of the year, if you've got more suggestions, you take a look at the document and you're like, Fred, this is ridiculous. I'll Chris, he'll tell me and I'll get rid of it. It's your plan. Wanted to make sure that it's built so that you can get the maximum amount as possible. And then it just has to be adopted by resolution by village board. And then when Chris applies for a grant, then he can say it's on page 32 or whatever, and hopefully you'll get it funded. So, and then if for some reason, like 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road, before the 5 years is up, someone thinks, oh, we should have put that in the plan. It's a real easy process. You bring it up at a public meeting. You approve it for inclusion in the park plan, and I can help Chris, 3, 4, or 5 years down the road, whenever that happens. Make a little thing, put into the plan, and then we adopt the whole plan with that change by resolution, and now it's in there. So pretty easy.
We did that exact same procedure when we made changes to the Safe Routes to School plan. Brought it back, made a couple of changes and then redone.
You have a question? Thank you, Fred.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, Fred.
What do you need some action on this, sir?
No, not really. This is still kind of a work in progress, so
Okay.
if we notice anything that needs to be changed over the next month or so, I like Pat's suggestion to change this a little bit. And as Fred said, we'll bring it back either in November or December if we pass it as a resolution.
Good.
Thank you.
Item B. Discussion possible action on a memorandum of understanding between the village of Spencer and Marathon County outlining list vote / election services.
There's not really much choice in whether or not we sign this, but I thought it might be appropriate to at least bring it to your attention. WisVote is the electronic system that the state uses to manage voting in Wisconsin. And both the county and the municipality have roles to play in the management of the data that gets entered into WisVote. And this memorandum basically just outlines the things that are the responsibility of each of those two entities. The costs associated with it. For us, there is no cost. Get my mouse to work better. There are no costs. We're considered self-providers. We do most of the stuff in WisVote. Most of the data entering gets done in our office. The county is responsible for entering like all of the county and state information, the candidates and what the ballots look like and that sort of thing. But we do that for municipal elections. So then there's all the costs associated with the electronic voting equipment, how often it will be maintained, That's really it, I guess. So we will have to sign this, but I just thought it might be appropriate.
So is it every municipality in the state of Wisconsin use this system?
Yes, the WIS vote system is used across the entire state. It's the system for Wisconsin. It's the records and registration system for the state. So like technically even the registration information we get in the village, once you enter it in WIS vote record becomes the official record.
So the complaint about I'm not able to vote.
You're not able to vote?
Well, you hear the complaint, well, I can't get down there to vote. Or I'm not a registered citizen, all of that. But that's across the state is my point.
Yep, so everybody has to follow the same rules in the state. And yeah, as far as being eligible to register to vote, you have to be a citizen and you have to be a resident of the
Right.
village dispensary to vote.
But it's not that hard to prove you're a citizen.
It shouldn't be, no, if you have, I mean, all it really requires is photo ID or driver's license, a utility bill, usually to prove the residential side.
So the next time a politician opens his mouth and lies, should I?
Yeah, you should.
Can I make a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding between the village of Spencer and American County outlining the Wisconsin vote elections?
Still saving me.
There is a motion to approve this. Did I hear a second?
Right, so
Okay,
You could do that, Bill.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Tom. Item C, discussion and possible action on a police chief follow request to start a conversation with Spencer School District about the potential of a full-time year-round SRO position.
With the potential retirement. I would like to talk to Jason about the budget numbers for a full-time position in SRO. And later bring back my findings to the board.
Make a motion.
So-
Chief. Go ahead and ask.
Second. Oh, go ahead.
Then move
So
second.
the question is, what would the officer do in their off season?
A huge help would be definitely fill vacations. Myself, I have almost 320 hours of fill. We're getting the other two officers that are reaching, I believe they're in the 170s, so stuff like that.
I think the other thing that has come up is the question of whether or not you're even going to be able to find somebody that wants to work part-time.
Right,
You know,
and
Whatever.
I understand that.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, there's been a motion made and seconded to give Sean an opportunity to pursue a year-round SRO position. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item D, discussion and possible action on authorizing police commission to fill the vacant police officer position.
So the way it works is the village board creates a position, writes a job description for it, and then tasks the police commission to fill that position with the best available candidate. So this is actually just giving the police commission permission to fill the vacancy that exists right now. It's our way of telling the police commission that, yes, we have the money to fund this position.
Make the motion.
Your second, Mr.
I'll second.
Okay, motion made and seconded to authorize the police commission to fill the vacant position. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Discussion and possible action to approve the application of a 10% surcharge on all delinquent water and sewer utility bills as of September 25th, 2025, that are unpaid as of November 15th, 2025.
So moved, this is an annual thing.
Yeah, we normally do this in
Yeah.
November, but Deb thought it more appropriate to put it in October's.
How many are we talking?
Last year was very few. It was several $100s and I think only 3 or 4.
That's what I thought.
To be quite honest, the procedure that was changed a couple of years ago to reach out to the delinquents, if I can use that term. That sounds a little horrible, but for people that haven't paid,
Thanks.
every month, the office makes calls, numerous calls to get them up to date, and
Right.
then if they don't pay, then these hang door hangers, Public Works hangs door hangers with the threat to shut the water off. And in almost every case, I think in every case, I don't think you've ever had to shut the water off. People come in and pay.
Is all that documented? That Deb makes a call and,
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
okay,
Yep. PSC it requires that.
okay.
There's rules on how you're supposed to notify and.
Our utility
Yeah.
will is the enforcer.
Public Works goes around and hangs hangers, and I'm still surprised by how many people actually pay late, like every month. Especially when you consider it's a 10% penalty every month, but eventually they'll come in and pay. The few that don't get put on taxes are usually people that have left an apartment, and so then the landowner maybe gets stuck with it. And so before we're able to sort that out, it ends up getting put on their tax rolls.
Do you know what motion, is there a second?
I didn't collect, did Tom make the motion?
I made the motion,
Second.
second by Pat. All in favor of this motion, say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, item F. Discussion possible action to approve authorizing the village clerk to place all past due bills as of September 25th, 2025, and unpaid as of November 15th, 2025, on the 2025 real estate tax roll for collection.
I have a two-step process. The penalty is one motion and the tax roll is the second motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Letter D. Discussion of possible action on a proposal from Ayler's Public Financial Advisors to prepare materials for, coordinate attendance of, and attend our annual joint board of review for tax incremental financing districts number 3 and 4 for a cost of $2,500.
So we had others do this last year for us as well, because the financing that we're doing related to the two anticipation notes that we took out last year, Park Street and the TID, and then the refinancing of at least part of Park Street that we're doing this year, and the potential to refinance some of that for the TID next year. Having Ellers on board to help us with that and to explain the mechanics behind that to the other members of the joint review board, I feel is very important. And so we had them basically run this meeting for us last year, and this is a proposal for them to do the same thing this year.
So move.
I can,
Somebody heard a second?
Yeah, Bill.
All in favor of this, say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Discussion possible action on appointing a village trustee to serve on the annual joint board of review.
So as I mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, the joint board of review is going to be on October 27th at 5:15. It'll be here. One member of each of the taxing authorities, the NTC, Marathon County, the school district, and the village, and then also one member at large from the community. For us, that's Wayne Hagan. He was appointed to that position last year and has agreed to take it again this year. So we need to appoint a person that will vote, or at least certainly for attendance purposes at the very least, because we don't have any motions that we'll be taking at this meeting, to represent the village at that meeting. Certainly more attendance as possible. If you all wanted to attend that meeting, that'd be great. But we should have one official representative. I don't have a preference. If somebody wants to go, I think Al went last year. You went? And Bill went last year.
I was here.
yeah, you came to also.
I came.
I can.
Yep, if you want to do that. Yep.
Is that good?
We would do that as a motion, so
Okay. Is there a second to this motion having Bill serve on?
I'll second that.
Okay, move the second to have Bill Owens as the representative from the Village Trustee Board. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Letter I, item I, discussion and possible action on updates to the employee handbook.
For the past, for the cover page, and I'll tell you. This looks like this was updated in 21. Since then, there have been a number of changes. We've approved at the board level to the handbook, but we never really codified them into one document. Rather than go back and try to figure out at what board meeting we approve each step, I thought maybe we approve them en masse again tonight with the understanding that they had already been approved in the past and we have been operating as if they as if that was the policy. I've highlighted in red the things that we have changed. If you want me to read the whole thing, I can, but I'll just look for the red. There's only like 5 or 6 points in it. The first has to do with office hours. We did change the office hours for the office, specifically relative to Public Works. We never really called out what our office hours were. We also qualified our lunch break in there, 2 15-minute breaks. And then the big change was the non-standard shifts. We allowed Public Works to decide if they wanted to work regular 5 8-hour days or 4 10s or even 4 9s plus a 4-hour Friday. As long as they provided advance notice and they had administrator approval, they could be flexible with that work shift. The next one was employees who are members of the Spencer Fire and Ambulance Service may respond to emergency calls while remaining clocked in during their scheduled shift. This has actually been policy for as long as I've been here, 25 years, and probably many years before that. If we have a fire department member who is working and they get an emergency call, they're allowed to go on that call and still be on the clock, get paid for their regular shift.
Who's on? And I don't know, will it be Pat?
Pat and
Myself.
two that are on.
And if we're in the middle of something, we don't go. It's all,
Yeah, I mean, if they show up at the fire department and there's already enough people to serve, they'd be the first ones to come back.
or one or the other, depends on,
Yeah.
sometimes like with Joe, it used to be Joe will go, I would say vice versa, depend on who would avail.
Okay.
I think this was initiated a long time ago when it was maybe a little bit harder to find staff to be fire department members, but I think it's been a good policy for them.
Yeah, well, yeah, I agree.
Yep.
Definitely.
We used to take PTO on half-hour increments. We changed that to quarter-hour increments to be just a little bit more flexible. And then the idea of exceptions to that policy really don't apply. So we scratched those. We did change the way that we could use PTO. This first change here reflects banked PTO. So every year, if it's unused, employees are allowed to bank up to 96 hours of PTO. They put it into their sick time bank, and then they can use it for illness or injuries. But the requirement has always been that those injuries or illnesses have to last more than 5 days in order to be eligible to use the bank. The language that we're changing here is from more than 5 days to at least 5 days. It's a minor change, but it's a little bit more descriptive of the way that it works. May require a note from the attending physician needed for the absence. And again, is always subject to administrator approval. We did not change this further, but the question did come up this last month. We don't have a requirement that these 5 days be consecutive. So if somebody had an illness or injury that caused them to be absent the first 3 days of the week, and then the first 2 days of the next week, if that made sense from an insurance perspective and they had doctors to support that, there'd be no reason for this to have to necessarily be consecutive. Or if they needed a follow-up appointment due to a specific illness or injury, then that could be counted towards the 5 days as well. And then we added when a couple of years ago the banked PTO could also be used for maternity or paternity leave. And that was approved when Ethan had first baby, so it's been. A while. There's two sections of this manual that look pretty similar. The PTO schedule and rules for employees hired before or hired after 12/21/2015, and the next section is hired before that date. The PTO rules are just a little bit different because employees hired before that date earned the PTO before they were allowed to take it. And after that date, employees are given PTO for the year and are allowed to use it on day one. So those two scenarios are a little bit different. They're still separated out in the policy. So the same changes apply, the quarter hour increments, and then the 5 work day and the maternity, paternity. Funeral leave, this was a verbiage change that Deb recommended, I believe. Or at least it was in there. I think it was either a Paul or a Deb thing. 3 scheduled working days at their current rate of pay as opposed to their highest permanent classification. I think highest permanent classification was just a little bit confusing because we don't use that language anywhere else in the policy manual or in any of our contracts. So whatever their current rate of pay is when they take the funeral leave, that's the rate at which they will be paid.
They only get 1 day.
They get 3 days for spouse, child, mother, father, mother-in-law, brother, sister, and then 1 day for grandparent, grandchild, sister-in-law, brother. Then we removed this section that dealt with the payment of accrued time. The idea being here that if you did bank that sick time up to a maximum of 240 hours, that you were allowed to be paid that out when you left. When you resigned or retired. Discharged employees don't receive compensation for their banked paid time off. But this language is duplicated up in the PTO sections up in the above areas, so there's no need to duplicate it again down here. I think the last change, or maybe a couple more. Oh, eating expenses were combined, so instead of paying per meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, the board decided just to put it at $50 for the day. So bring in enough receipts. It doesn't matter how much you spend for each meal, $50 per day is the amount that's allocated for that. And the other thing that was changed was the boot allowance, safety shoes allowance. That used to be $100 when I first started, got ranked up a little bit, and the latest change brought it.
It's on a path.
Yeah, I know.
50.
And the last thing that I changed, so this wasn't something that you guys all approved before, but I always thought was as silly as could be. When you signed this page to say that you agree with the rules in the handbook, you were instructed to destroy all previous versions of the handbook, which I thought was a little bit odd. There's nothing wrong with keeping previous handbooks to reference. Those rules were the way that we operated in the past, but
The day we approve them,
yeah, there's no reason that we have to destroy the other versions. In fact, I liked keeping those around because then I could see how things could change. Yeah, right. Exactly. That's kind of what it felt like. It's like, why are we telling these guys? They have to.
Well, somebody obviously at one time tried to go back on our old handbooks.
I really think so. So those are all the changes. Except for that last one, all of them had been approved at one point or another at a board meeting. Now this will be a new edition of the policy manual. If you guys approve.
Entertain a motion to approve the update to the employee handbook. Been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Seconded by Phil.
Oh, thank you.
Considering the hand raises.
Hold on, let's go. This okay with?
Second, yeah.
Now, you okay with?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Good, that, I'll just get.
You got
Second
the,
opinion.
And I'll go back on that, Pete, Joe, and that's a good thing, because we already, that's hours we took out of our bank to put in our sick bank, so it's like, why can't we use it when we need it? It's like, instead of waiting, using our vacation before them 5 days and then have to start using them.
Yeah.
That was, so we appreciate that, thank you, that wasn't
the motion.
yeah.
You're no good at auctions, are you?
All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Motion carried. What are you doing this? Oh, this.
It doesn't really. Yeah, I guess he doesn't.
You want somebody here or something?
Yeah, but we will lump them in on the street.
Okay, item J, discussion possible action, temporary class B wine licenses for Authentic Group sipping shop vendor event on November 29th, 2025 at 107 East Clark Street.
My attention to detail wasn't very good on this. We actually approved this license last board meeting as a beer license. They had checked beer license on their application. Deb asked me, what do you think sipping shop means? And I'm like, I don't know. She said, well, that probably means wine. So I did call them and confirm that, yes, they tend to have wine at that event and not beer. So we're just going to issue this as a wine license instead of.
Okay. No action needed.
There is a difference and it's an important one, unfortunately. You're only allowed 2 temporary wine licenses per year. And that's a little bit of an issue for them because you're allowed an limited number of beer licenses, temporary beer licenses. So they are a little bit disappointed that they can't have wine at every activity that they have. So they will have to pick and choose. It is frustrating. The state makes those rules and yeah.
No action needed.
No, we are gonna wanna approve it as a wine license.
Oh, okay, need a motion to approve this as a wine license.
Yeah. I'll make a motion.
Second. Been moved by Bill, second by Pat. All in favor, say aye. Opposed. Motion carried. And discussion and possible, ready to go? Yes. Discussion and possible action on operators licenses for Amanda Willoughby and Diana Vetzel.
Recommendation.
I'm assuming those are the girls.
Actually, Amanda is gonna be getting a license to work in one of the bars and
Oh, okay.
Diana is the director at SKG because
Okay.
it's a little bit of a hassle to find temporary operator at every, event that they want to do. She did go to the trouble to take the bartender's course and she'll be getting a regular operator's license now.
Okay. So John says it's okay. Need a motion to approve this? I'll second it. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Vouchers.
So you have 2 sets of them, the second set there. Yellow.
I don't know why the yellowed ones are the correct ones. First one was the draft vouchers that were sent out last week with your agendas. And when I added this to the pile, I forgot to pull the other ones out. So the list that we'll be approving is the second list with the changes highlighted in yellow.
What's an extra large cap from?
Oh. Where am I looking? Arts.
Sewer department.
Oh, a cap for a sewer, a plug,
Okay.
a compression plug to plug up the floor drains.
There was a lawn mowing one on here. $350
Was that what?
what's the street here by the church?
Window.
Wendell?
Yep,
Is that vacated house? $350?
yeah, is that the one that you have somebody mow that?
Oh, that was mowed all summer. That's right.
Yep.
Yeah,
So that's the entire summer's worth of mowing.
yes. I think he did that at least every other week.
No, I'm not, I just find it interesting that
We've been
they're willing to pay that.
they're willing to pay taxes and everything else and they.
Yeah, no, I
We've
guess.
been mowing that long for about 3 or 4 years.
Yeah,
now.
it's at least 4.
Yeah, the mortgage company that owns it is not even Wisconsin based, is it?
I don't know what, there was some like literature and stuff on how to contact people. And none of those numbers ever worked for me. So we just been mowing it. Well, we send them a notice and then we mow it. So
They pay it.
Okay.
This vacant house stuff.
Any other questions on the voucher?
Oh, yeah, I had another one. That was that one, 15.
We do have a large pay request that was submitted as part of this vouchers, but that was for Ellis Stone that we approved at the last meeting. We approved early so that we could get it submitted to the DNR for repayment. That's normally when we would have asked Max for his comments. So maybe now, if you had any questions about that payment to Ellis Stone, for almost $600,000, this would be the time to ask Max.
well spent, I'm sure.
Progress is continuing with his plans.
What'd we ever do with that? In the new water plant where they don't have access to the.
That, yep, Max will talk about that maybe after we approve the vouchers.
That's down a little farther.
Oh, I missed that.
Well, no, it's not on the agenda. It'll be part of your, we'll just address it under your committee report. It's nothing that we have to make a decision on.
Another question?
Jump the gun.
It's okay.
Need a motion to approve these then? I make a motion to approve this. Moved by Tom. Second. And we need a roll call.
Yep, Brophy, Jazinski. Hose. Schaefer.
Yes.
Kraus.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Tofa.
Yes. And that brings us to the clerk's report.
A lot of building
Oh,
reports this month, which was kind of nice, little, not very big ones, but I do like people coming in and talking about this stuff, and I really do encourage them, and they really have been willing to come in, even for the smaller stuff, and say, hey, I need to get a building permit. So that's been extremely appreciated. Otherwise, as far as the rest of my report goes, well number 7, water treatment plant project is going well. We did have a delay in some of the electronics for a couple weeks, and maybe Max can let us know if does that affect our schedule too much, or are we pretty much still on schedule?
It did push our schedule. Talking to the electrician today, they were supposed to be delivered this afternoon. So if that's the case, I would say we're probably 2-ish weeks kind of behind what the initial schedule was, which would have been an October substantial completion. So I guess it depends on how much the electrician can get done now that they're here.
Otherwise, that other thing that we wouldn't talk about would be that the access to the hatches to the west side of that filter. Maybe we could actually do that now.
So where are you gonna hear it? So talking with John, Chris. We tried to pick the low-hanging fruit first here. For access to some. John called it pretty infrequent access needs, these hatches. So our first option was a lift. With the benefit being that something of these lifts is maneuverable throughout the village, so you could get it paid for through this contract. Funded through the DNR. And then if you ever needed to, you could take it to like the shop, change lights there, else that you needed in the village. It has a dual benefit. I have these in order of price. So the DNR requires that we go out for 3 separate quotes. So I talked to United Rentals, Wisconsin Aerial Lifts, and then Ideal Crane Solution. All 3 of them, kind of gave us, I'd say, 2 options. Your like typical scissor lift, which is just a platform, and it actually is like the first and second one. It's essentially just a mast on a lift. It's a cheaper option. That first option is a used price for like 11,000-ish. And I think a new one is in the 20 to 25. So with that one, you're looking at like 20 feet of, maybe 25 feet of accessible height that you can get. They're fairly maneuverable and kind of, they turn within themselves is the way they call it. So that would get us plenty of access to the hatches, which are roughly 10 feet up, 12 feet up. And then also that gets you up to the ceiling in there. So if you need to change lights, if you need to act with the attic, you can do that. I'm not sure what the height is at the shop in terms of like those overhead doors, but.
18 feet.
Yeah, something like this would also cover like those doors if you're setting this up. The last three options is what I'd refer to as the Cadillac of the lift. So this is a lift that has two kind of options to it. It's a mast style lift, and then it also has like a boom arm like this. Yeah. So you can go up, the whole mast rotates, and then you can actually take your
8 foot off.
yeah, you can swing it out. So the reason this one was kind of recommended is what we have in there is a large rectangular tank. The first hatches are at like, say, 11 feet off the ground. Then we have a center kind of piece of process equipment that sits in the middle of that tank. That tank's like 25-ish feet wide. So you're looking at, I think it's like 8 feet to the very edge of that from the overhang. So this would get you to the first set of hatches as well as you get all the way to the other hatches without leaving the bucket. This is a big concern with safety, because as soon as you leave the bucket, I'm looking at having to tie off in several places, maybe a handrail. So talking about low hanging fruit, this is just, I guess, the easiest, I guess, one to pick off. Another, I guess, option we talked about was also doing some sort of a walkway. We have a walkway on one half, which would be our more, I guess, frequented hatches. Another option would be adding more of a walkway, and then you'd actually have to move the stairs more than likely just to meet OSHA requirements. So for these lifts,
more than 25 grand.
yes, so the Toucan, the United Rentals for a used one was about 25. A new one for the larger size is, yeah, about pushing 50 roughly. The smaller one was probably maybe a couple thousand difference. So the difference on the size is just 6 feet basically of reach. The overall path height is about the same. Rough numbers on that hat or the walkway. We're guessing between 40 and 50. For the current contractor to come in, work with the filter rep to get whatever they need to do to figure out and then get it all fabbed up. We get it made.
So why wouldn't the filter manufacturer, knowing he's got hatches on both sides, not include?
Well, engineer, the engineer should.
Engineering.
I believe I guess the discussion at the time during design was just the infrequent use. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, but that's the gist I got from Greg and John. That it's like John said it's once a month.
That's not so infrequent.
Originally, I think Greg thought it was once a year. Not realizing that due to the high iron content in our water, that we're actually cleaning the detention side, or at least hosing down the detention side. We're not entering it every month. But he does like to hose it down every month to keep that stuff from growing.
I'm thinking Christmas type thing.
Well, I wasn't part of this. Max wasn't either. Greg and John talked about this a couple years ago when we first were in the design phase.
They're pretty well.
All right, what about, there's no room for a staircase or what's the deal?
Yeah, there basically isn't room for a staircase.
Oh, staircase.
Yep, so adding the catwalk, I mean, if I can wave a magic wand, I'd have the catwalk installed in a heartbeat because I think that's the best solution. The problem is getting up to that catwalk. You can't accommodate a staircase on that side of the filter. The distance between the filter and the wall is just too
A
narrow.
ladder would work.
So you could, so if we decided that we wanted our guys to work off a ladder, we could. I would not recommend.
No, I meant a ladder to the cap.
No, you can't legally, if according to safety rules, you can't climb a ladder to exit off of the ladder onto the the catwalk without tying off. I mean, you'd have to have pick points to tie off onto before you could go on top of filter. And then you'd also have to have a railing installed around the filter. So at that point, you're basically talking about a catwalk, because you'd have to have a railing.
Right.
The other issue is that the Tonka would not want you to weld anything onto the filter. Everything that they have like designed to be bolted to the filter comes pre-welded on at the factory. Welding things on after the fact would likely void the warranty as far as Tonka was concerned on the metal.
Yeah, that's why I said walking through, this would, we'd have to go back to them and look at the design.
So these are all electric, right?
Correct.
What
do you think you guys could use?
Well, John did bring it to our attention that, because he did ask us, we went up there and kind of worked, that was one of the guys too at one day. And I mean, honestly, I mean, my opinion don't mean much, but this 26E, I mean, it's a used machine for 25,000, a lot better than a 40-some thousand. The only thing is, like I just was talking to Max, is there will have to be a trailer purchase for that particular machine, for that one machine.
Because the ramp.
Because this thing weighs 7,000 pounds. And
don't have a clearance, you probably.
no, you need a small tilt, but I know United Rental says they usually have trailers that these usually stay on all the time when they rent them out, they go with that when they rent them. So yeah, there's no way we can even pick it up with the toolcat either. So we thought at first it was light enough we can move around, but this will need a trailer.
Right, but this is only good if you're gonna keep them always on concrete.
Yes, this has to be a hard surface, clean
'Cause they're
surface.
not worth a damn.
No,
Nope.
Outside.
but like in our shops and stuff, it would work.
Yeah, but how often do you use it in your shop?
I mean, if John has it, we'd probably use it, but I mean, a lot of times we walk over and go get a ladder when we gotta work on our dredge openers and stuff.
I think it's like any tool that once you have it on.
We would use it more.
We
We
probably use it more
Work
often.
on Highway 13.
shut up. No,
I think it would cost you a lot of maintenance just to keep it. So Al,
And that is,
Max, you said 40,000 for a catwalk?
Yeah, I don't know if that's between.
When you say 40 to 50, you know, we're good.
The other problem the problem with the catwalk is that there's not enough clearance to attach the east side catwalk to the west side catwalk and leave the existing staircase in place that services the east side catwalk. You can bridge the two, but then you have to relocate the staircase. And when the only other place to move the staircase is on the northeast side of the filter in such a way that the staircase basically comes down within 6 feet of your front. You walk in and then the staircase is right there as soon as you walk in. So yeah, John, for material handling purposes, didn't like the idea of as soon as you walk in that door, you gotta worry about getting around that staircase. Because it would come down right in the center.
No, it's just bad engineering.
Are these?
yeah, I mean, for what we're spending on this thing and now we come along with this problem. It's like the design
What I
already screwed up.
What I got from Greg was that their original design did include catwalks on both sides. And then they submitted that design to Tonka. And Tonka came back with marked up drawings that said you don't need a catwalk on the side. And for whatever reason, it wasn't caught, or it wasn't understood that we would need to access those hatches as often as John wants to access those hatches. It's a tough because it's very similar to what happened at the wastewater plant when we had that sludge storage tank put in. And I had said, I absolutely need a staircase that can reach the roof of that slush storage tank. And then, as it turned out, Aquastore was 3 feet short, right? The staircase platform that they ended up with was 3 feet short of the seat or the roof.
What works with the Arizona emissions?
And then we had them come back in and rebuild that end of the staircase so that it would reach the top. In that case, it was a little.
Nobody's liable for nothing, Bill.
See, that's why we hired Trevor, cause he's tall.
In that case, actually, Caddy and the engineers split the cost of installing that catwalk addition because I had very clear documentation. In the beginning of that project that I needed access to the roof of that tank. And so it was very easy to say at that point that we did not get what we asked for. In this case, unfortunately, pardon?
We can't do that with this.
Well, unfortunately, in this case, there was a bit more of a miscommunication in that, the engineers didn't understand what we needed.
Well, if they didn't understand, I mean, that's what we hire them for. And not cheaply by any means. And I'd like them to eat a little bit of this.
I will talk to Greg. I don't get to make that decision.
Oh, I know.
I agree with your sentiment. And Town and Country as a company is never been shy that if we make a mistake that costs the village that we should have caught at some point, we're more than willing to make amends with that. So I can definitely talk to Greg about that.
Good. Guess.
Well, you don't think these are
Where you get us,
do you?
No, because I don't think there's gonna be a lot of hours on them, so it's not like they're gonna get beaten up.
We got one at our mill, thing gets molested. And I don't see,
No, and United, and like the ones we've seen at United Rental, even the used one, I mean, they take care of their equipment too, even if we do go to used routes.
It's another piece of equipment that requires constant maintenance all year round.
But it will be in the controlled environment too, it's not gonna be where there's a lot of corrosive, it's not gonna be cold out.
Piece of equipment.
And you know,
And all equipment
use them on a regular basis and stuff. Those batteries will get weak on you. I replace all the batteries in them. And that's not cheap.
I'm assuming if it's a used machine, United would probably put new batteries in before they sell. I believe they would have to question it. wouldn't
Not
they?
as-
Huh?
I would not assume.
No, we would have to ask, and that's stuff like
you
that.
should wheel and deal.
Oh, that's these guys. That's John. Yeah. We have John.
I mean, if we had to pick one, I'd recommend the used one for 25. But I just, as far as the styles of them, but yeah.
Max is gonna check.
Max can lean on Greg and say, you know, how many millions is the place gotta spend before you guys can give us some accountability or Jesus, you know, we pay everybody, so this shit don't happen.
There's gotta be a way to put a catwalk on. Gotta be.
There is.
I think there is, but the issue again now is that, it could very well turn out that the additional catwalk from the beginning would have cost more than $25,000. So then
We don't know that.
we could figure that out.
If it was on the print, it would have costed that. you know?
Right. Yeah.
But a catwalk is a one-time cost. This is a constant cost.
Yeah, absolutely. The only
Advantages.
advantage is you could
This can do
potentially
more
use it.
things with this.
Right.
Well, there's multiple uses maybe for it, but
Not a
it's
budget.
gonna sit out there. And you gotta crawl up, do something right now. And you're out there and hook onto it.
That's my
All the
point.
thing.
Yeah, that's on you guys.
I mean, that's
I see both ways.
2 hour shot in the ass.
I see
before-
that.
My vote of why.
We could haul it in 20 minutes, Bill.
Is this something we can table till we hear back from?
We do not actually have this as a.
It's not an action item. Let's see what they come back.
I knew we didn't have enough information yet to make that decision.
Catwalk, I agree would be,
If the board wants to go up there and take a look at where that
I
cap
was.
would be, you know,
What do you think? But not having a staircase in front of the door.
No,
Yeah, you gotta walk into it all the time. I mean, there's a lot
Going
of.
up there.
Yeah,
So what do you think?
well,
Back.
yes, the catwalk's not an issue, it's getting up to the cat. That's the issue.
I would really like to stay away from the idea of a ship's ladder, so that could be a viable option. Except the state is close to changing or Vincent, our safety consultant, would say that the state is close to changing the regulations on ship's ladders. To require, like the.
Very vertical.
It's a steep ladder.
Right, either.
What about like
either-
a hand crank elevator? Will could crank John up there.
But, oh, the ship ladders will be grandfathered in already also though, too.
Yeah, but you don't know that the state will allow the grandfathering. And they could change the rules such that they outlaw.
They
ship's
can't.
ladders.
And then
Yeah.
that'd be everything. That'd be water towers, that'd be everything they'll change it to that.
But-
There's so many ship ladders, they can't.
Yeah. Well, the issue isn't really that they wouldn't allow ship's ladders, it's that the fall protection associated would become extremely expensive. And that's the bigger issue. Cause then you have to hook up the fall protection just to climb up.
Trying to escape Bill.
That's why we went with the staircase at the wastewater plant for the sludge tank. 'Cause Caddy would have put a ladder on that as an alternative to a staircase as a standard.
Do a little more exploring on that catwalk. And I can't believe you can't, the way that thing is built, you can use that as structure to support that.
Yeah, I agree that you can use infrastructure. We have to go back to CRITA and just confirm that that is the case. So,
Yeah, and, yeah,
Yeah. Just check.
yeah. I can get a price for that.
I understand the safety aspect of getting up there. And so whatever else I mean, if they have to carry something up or lift something, maybe a hoist is a way to get something to that second half. But, how wide does that catwalk gotta be? 2 feet wide.
State requirement is 36 inches. With a
He's
hand,
not that fat.
that's a state requirement.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I know it's 36, which
On it.
I know it's 36. Inside there. That's explore that more. So I don't have to piss more.
Can I ask one question?
Yeah.
I guess so.
Just for the DNR purposes, we have to get 3 similar quotes. So if we wanted to go with a lift, then I'd have to get 3 apples to apples comparison. It would be the used, like,
That'll be
like a quotation can style lift.
I think so.
So when I come back, I'm prepared with all that.
Okay. Any other concerns? Any questions?
Just the rest of my.
Okay, we'll fill up.
items in the clerk's report. Shooting range is on schedule. Should be completed by the end of the week, minus any.
What was that $5,000 change order?
Oh, they broke through the.
That was for the extra fill material that had to come in to compensate for the fact that the cap of the landfill was higher than anticipated. So, yeah, we had to bring in a little extra fill for that.
Okay.
Street crack sealing started this week. So Marner is in here. They should maybe they'll be done tomorrow, but certainly Wednesday if it doesn't rain. I had election training in Wausau. That went really well. I do want to schedule a meeting for some ordinance updates. We can do this as a committee of the whole at a regular board meeting or at the regular committee level. The 3 ordinances that I want to look at specifically are the sex offender registration residency ordinance and a new anti-bullying ordinance that was recommended by our SRO. I have got here suggested that maybe those would be most appropriate for the health, recycling and emergency government committee. And then we also have to develop a new ordinance to cover our shooting range. So that one could be maybe parks. Or again, if it's easier just to meet as a committee of the whole, we can certainly do that too, or have a special meeting rather.
Well, I didn't have any problems with that ordinance, the way I read.
Which one's that?
Athens?
Huh?
The Athens?
Yeah.
I didn't take a close look at it, but I'll go by Sean's recommendation, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, if for simple changes to the ordinance, we could bring those back to the regular community or regular board meeting, that's perfectly fine. If we don't have to have a lot of discussion about it, that's not a problem.
You sent that today.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't have a chance. Is there anything that we need? It'd be like anything else. Let's put it in place and then
Well-
see how it works.
Well, yeah.
I don't have any experience with a shooting range ordinance.
I think,
I think Sean's
we just wanna get the signage up.
Sean's goal is to be able to enforce village ordinances out
Right.
there. So by, having an ordinance that incorporates, hours of operation and, a small list of things that aren't permitted out there. If there is a problem, he's got something he can point to, for purposes of a citation. So that one could be an easy one. The anti-bullying ordinance is new, but it's also not very complex. So, if you guys want to bring all of these back to the next November. Let's,
What is that for the village or schools?
School.
so I don't see.
But-
It would be,
But
he's something you can enforce.
he's gotta enforce it.
So if there's sometimes things happen at school that either don't happen on the premises or, there's a gray area there about whether, online would be a good one. Whether or not, the SRO has the authority to enforce something like that. But with an anti-bullying ordinance like this that covers the village in general, then he'd be okay to write a citation if he needs to. The ordinance that, we're looking at as a potential model actually includes, is it called restitutional justice or something like that? Where restorative justice, where instead of a citation, you could, require restitution, or you could require, some way for the offender to make it up to the affected party that, keeps it more personal and doesn't get to the level of a citation. So then that would be covered by the ordinance as well. To give the SR a little bit more flexibility to say, hey, you guys can't figure this out, the next level of citation, here are our options until we get to that. So again,
Want to do? Regular meeting?
No, because I think
That's gonna
you're,
take a while.
you're gonna wanna talk about this a little bit. This is new. Not just ram it through.
yeah, that's fine. Yeah, again, we can do it at a special meeting or at the committee level first. We also.
Well, I'm on both, so
Yeah.
Phil,
This would be under the part of this.
So the shooting range.
Just combine them.
That sounds like a good
I'd
idea.
like it.
I can say, and by the time they combine it, we could just do a special board meeting.
Let's just do a special.
Yeah,
Okay.
And then the other thing is, if we want to have a finance meeting or to talk about the budget, again, that could be done maybe even at the same meeting. Before we would approve the budget.
Oh, you gotta have eight for it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know if you guys want to, if you're looking at something within the next, ideally, it might be before the next board meeting, which is November 10th. So we.
Thursdays are out for me.
Yep, we know Thursday is good. I think we could probably do the ordinances and the budget maybe at the same meeting.
Yes.
So if we just have a special meeting. No Thursdays. We actually have police commission meetings on the 22nd.
Well, next Monday, 20th.
What's the
Thursday.
20th?
Okay.
Oh, you're suggesting the 20th?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I'm good. Bill?
Going to the special board meeting.
It would be called, yeah, we do this as a special board. So
Let's do the 20th.
six,
I think so, my calendar's at home, but
oh, okay,
6:30.
6:30 next Monday.
That's on the ordinances
We would do the ordinances and
and
then
a little bit of the
also
budget.
a review of the budget.
6:30,
Yep.
saved.
SKG, has got some concerns about some of their building maintenance, so I'm actually gonna go to their, meeting next month. Bill is technically our village representative to the SKG. He's not a board member of the SKG, but the village's representative to the SKG. They are looking at about $100,000 to potentially replace the floor in the gymnasium. And they've also got concern about windows and doors. I had actually asked, Town and Country to give us an estimate on what it would cost to bring in like a structural engineer to just say, okay, you know, this is your 100-year-old building in a couple of years. You know, these are the recommendations, the things you would want to do if you wanted it to last another 25.
What's it? Wrong with the floor. Sorry.
It's warped on the northeast corner. So when you walk in the front doors, you take a look to the left. If you look at the wall, the floor meets the wall, you can see that the boards are all wavy.
Pour all beer.
It could be.
That's part of the floor that was replaced already too, before.
So what's under it? Concrete?
That's one thing that we don't know. There is a subfloor that you can see because there's two hatches that you can use
There's
to access the volleyball.
There's concrete under it, but it's
must
just
be
sitting on two-way six,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Because we did cut that chunk out where the old bar was,
Okay.
years ago, and then.
We thought maybe there'd be a potential to get underneath the stage and look under there to see what it was
Was
like too.
some company come in and did a good resurface on it.
The company that
Deals.
the company that they brought in last time said, plan on doing this again in a couple of years.
They weren't lying.
So they want to have a, like they want to just develop a plan, how much money do we really want to put in that building? Where's the money going to come from? Is it going to be village? Is it going to be SKG? Is it going to be a combination of the two? We've talked about maybe half of that gymnasium floor that's eliminated, maybe you put some other type of flooring in there. That's easier to maintain than the gym floor. Do you really need that entire room to be a gymnasium?
I'll see if they come back with recommendations and discuss them.
When's our next meeting?
November. November 5th, Wednesday, November 5th.
That's your kid.
What time is that?
6:30, what I got. Yeah, so if you wanted to come with me to that, Bill, that might be nice. We had the Spark ribbon cutting of phase 2 today. That was well attended. That facility up there is really sharp looking. Chamber of Commerce donated $5,000 to purchase new Christmas decorations. Deb and I think Will helped a little bit to select some new wreaths that are going to go on Highway 13 to replace those big old heavy wreaths. Didn't you help with that?
No, because I said no reefs.
Oh, yeah. That's right. You said no wreaths. I said you're getting wreaths. Yeah, that's what
We said no race and now we're getting them.
We're trying,
the
okay.
new,
What do you got against wreaths?
Well, no, I just want to be able to move them around throughout the different villages. Said the same ones look the same every year. That's why I don't want reefs, because every year they look the same. We do a reef candy cane, reef candy cane. At least if you have different ones.
New candy cane read.
Either way. Oh, my God.
What would charge you?
Oh,
Will's ADD is kicking in.
no, it's just, we wanted to be able to mix them up throughout the village, the new one. instead of putting all the new ones at the beginning of the village.
This is why,
That's why.
this is why I put Will and Devin.
Sure.
Yeah, Deb and I are gonna talk about there. We're
Yeah.
taking this up. Thanks, Todd. Hey, I got it.
It was a very generous donation by the
Yeah, I
chamber.
love it. The donation was awesome because we really need to replace a bunch of them.
Oh, yeah, they're in
But
bad shape.
I kind of wanted to mix them up a little bit more, so.
And then the Loyal Car Show donated $1,000 today to phase 2 of the band stage. That was
What?
Awesome.
the Loyal Car Show. Wayne came,
That's Wayne.
Wayne came with a check for $1,000.
Okay.
And that's all I got.
Hey, I got a question on that sign.
That's signed, yep.
You had brought that up. What did they decide?
Well, I had told Nuts that they had options, but that I couldn't help them with all of their options. We don't permit signs in the Highway 13 right of way. So I told Louis, I can't give you a permit to put a sign up on Highway 13. I said, I can give you a permit to put a sign up on LaSalle Street, but due to the proximity of the power lines there, I need you to get a waiver from Excel Energy, which I think they would have granted to put up a different sign. It's frustrating because if you call up the state, they will not give you a permit for a sign in the right of way. They don't do that. So if you put up a sign, it's kind of at your own, your own chances of there being a problem with it in the future and then the state coming back and saying, no, you gotta take it down. I asked Stratford Signs to be the intermediary between Nuts and the DOT. And Stratford Signs did a very good job working with the state to come up with, what they could do. And at the end of the day, Stratford Signs and Dewey decided not to put out the new signs that they wanted to put out, which would basically have jutted out above the sidewalk 4 feet. Similar to the sign that actually exists at my brother's place. But for the cost that Dewey was going to spend on these signs, it would be a hard thing to put up and then have to take down because the state yells at you later. So they did decide to put up signs that are very similar to the signs they have up now, just a different design. So they are going to be updated. They look pretty sharp, but they won't stick out from the building like he originally.
I just want to know, because you had brought all that up earlier.
Yeah, I felt bad because, there are other situations along Highway 13 that look similar to what Dewey wanted to do. I just couldn't, in good conscience, give him a permit with our permission to do it because that wouldn't have held water for anybody at the DOT.
Was he understanding?
I think so.
Okay.
He was disappointed for
Yeah.
sure. There's not much you can do when it comes to, rules like that from the state.
Any other? Let's move on to committee reports. Finance and personnel.
I guess we had a few meetings. September 22nd, we met with Public Works Department and kind of reviewed their yearly activities and how things were going. Communications between the employees and the board, I thought went pretty good that night. And I think we did, we talked about the sick time bank thing. And then the rest of them, pretty normal. October 9th. Let's see, we had some session we went into with police negotiations. And we came out with an agreement. I think that was very fair between the employees and the government, and it was a 3-year contract. And we did have a police commission meeting.
We had 2 of them. We had one to review applications for police officer and one to brush up some of the policy.
Yes.
You said you had 8?
8 applications.
That wasn't what you're expecting.
No, it was good. So, Right, that's about all I have.
Thank you, Bill. Utilities and equipment, no report. Parks and buildings,
October 20th to discuss the gun range policies and then we'll have to discuss with the budget, the 50% grants on bathrooms and phase 2 of the stage.
health and emergency government,
October 20th for the items.
Those ordinances.
Yeah.
okay. Economic development, Jeremy's not here. Streets and sidewalks, no report. Fire and ambulance. I don't have any notes on that.
I just wanted to mention the fact that the fire department did, or you could speak on it too, Al, if you wanted to. Otherwise, they approved the budget for 2025, resulted, or 2026 rather, resulted in a $2,000 increase in the levy for the village, which was pretty marginal, primarily due to the increase in assessed value in the other township. Township of Spencer primarily soaked up a bit more of that increase. And they did approve the purchase of a new ambulance for next year as well. So at a cost of about $300,000,
370,
almost $400,000.
370,000 to replace 120 or 40.
The old ambulance.
The old one was 20 years old.
Yeah. So that will exhaust their equipment replacement fund through the end of next year. So Troy just wanted us to realize that at some point, we're gonna have to start probably kicking a little bit more money to start working on the next vehicle that's gonna be replaced after the ambulance.
The main, one of the big price increases was vehicle insurance.
Right. Yeah,
The new fire truck
Was like
raised that,
10, wasn't it?
huh?
I think it was like 10,000 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or a
It's
rate for
over
insurance.
10,000.
Well, it costs that much more. I mean, that's.
You're exactly right. You're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, you're looking at 1.3.
What are they gonna do with the other ambulance, the one, are they, can they
The old
sell
one?
that? Yeah.
Like most ambulances, they'll just go
Be a
for
carpenter truck now?
What?
Be a carpenter truck now?
sure.
Well, if you wanna buy it.
Al won't come out
I'm not a
retired.
carpenter.
Interested in it. If you look on the auction site, there's all kinds of them out there that show up and if they get 5,000, they're tickled.
Really? Oh, yeah.
Well, they're 20 years old and, most of the electronics is outdated to the point they probably can't find a lot of it and I mean, them things idle more than they actually run. You know, setting at scenes and stuff, so, yeah, I don't know of a home, fortunately, they found a home for the whole matter.
I went to Michigan.
Huh?
I went to Michigan.
Right, but I meant they found a home for it.
I can't remember offhand.
25?
That's
You
what,
got 25.
that's what we got. I don't know.
We don't know
We're thinking a guy sold it for 40-some-thousand probably. And that's what we got was 25 for it.
We
So
got,
there was a middleman in there.
yeah, we don't know what he sold it for. The issue that he's bringing up is Troy said that if we had to replace everything and we put $100,000 away a year, we have to put 250,000 a year to replace what we have.
Is to meet the 20-year replacement schedule
Right.
on what we
The
have.
problem with that is you can't go from 100 to 250,000. So we're gonna have to look at starting to increase that in increments, knowing that all future vehicles are just that much more. And that was a very good point.
I'm
We gotta-
pretty ambitious.
The next generation won't be able to afford the next trucks. Or we just,
We won't be running ambulance.
one of the things that surprised me more than anything is we're still got an ambulance.
You know,
There's a lot of communities that do not have, they go to private firms.
you hear it
And
all.
that's just money right out your, there's no controlling that money. You don't get a choice. This is your rate and you're paying it.
Look.
You
You have a statistical count of how many calls per year?
Yes, yeah, he gives us the call report every time.
I think there were 90 calls in the last
I don't
quarter,
remember.
the majority of which are EMS calls.
Well, that's the other issue. It's people of your generation
Yeah.
are causing more problems and there's more calls.
I know what the point was.
Any other concerns?
I'm sorry, we dragged that
No,
out.
that's
It's good talk.
I need to know, so we're looking at, we adjourn.
You need to,
You want to speak or?
About the plow truck, just so we know if we're,
Don't worry about that.
Yeah, that's what I told her.
yeah, Public Works is continuing to research plow trucks.
We're buying you a new shovel.
We had,
Big one truck.
we had given them a price point when we talked to Ellers about financing for next year. The one truck that they had picked out, had an air transmission. What do they call
it's a manual transmission, but it has an air shift, Pat. It's at,
What do you mean air shift?
so basically it's an automatic transmission, but the air shifts it so you don't do it. It's not a manual transmission. It's a manual. It's a, what kind of brand is that? Come on.
It's a manual transmission that's controlled literally
Spicer?
by an air
Air assist.
assist computerized system that makes those shifts for you.
Okay.
Instead of having to push down on the clutch and shift, it does it for you. The problem with it is it's a 10-speed and when you're plowing and you're gonna be changing, maybe you'll get up to 6th gear if you're lucky.
You will get 6 speeds within your first block. So it's like jerking every time you put pressure on. It's like,
Yeah.
so Pat and I took it up first drive. We said that. John and Mike did the same thing. We said, the truck is beautiful, but we won't be happy with the way that.
That's mid-state.
Yeah, that was one in mid-state, but we're researching a little bit more places. We even went a little farther out to Lake Hudson area. We found a few trucks out there I've been communicating. And we're trying to stay with that Allison transmission. We looked at a Mac the guy sent me, but
They even make manuals anymore.
they do. But this, I know Bill
Good
or Al
enough
wants us
for
to stay
it to
within that
shift again.
10-year window, but with the price that we're looking at, we almost gotta go farther out, but we've been inspecting them a little bit more. I mean, the one we looked at now is a 2011, but it's a Mac. It has a Allison transmission. But we're just keeping our eyes out. We're just gonna keep looking. We're not jump on something. Just,
That one
Well,
at mid-state's been sitting there quite a while.
it has.
And that's probably why.
That's what we all talked about. That's why,
Transmission.
yeah, because of the transmission.
there is a site for all municipalities. There's a number of them that do what we do in the fire department. They replace their truck every 10 years. And I don't remember that site.
It's Wisconsin Surplus.
No,
Is that-
no,
Not that one.
no, this is a site that they only deal with municipal trucks.
We'll keep looking we are. It's
I'll get you
something.
there.
If we look down south, like they don't use them much. Maybe they replace them.
And that's what the guy over by Hudson said.
I'm not joking, actually.
Pretty nice trucks that he was showing. But
Like those guys might salt once in the life. I mean, I don't know.
I will be fixed. There's a part on
You
the
got relatives in Georgia, make a day trip.
Day trip.
All right, there, that's why I'd say, just so we're keeping.
Yeah, no, it's good information.
Gator wrestling.
We have one more item, police commission. Anything on that?
I think Bill touched on it. during this.
Oh.
Yep, so.
In that case, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
One move.
Is there a second?
Second.
For fair say aye.
Thank you.
Opposed? Out of here.
We had some more.
Nope.
Hi, Keith.
I think I was.
I will.